sneaky ways that your body is trying to get your attention. So that's what today's podcast is all about, these hidden ways, and I'm going to give you 20 of them. Welcome to the Let's Talk Shit podcast. I am your host, Lisa Garrett. I am a wife, mom of 4 boys, 2 German Shepherds, and I'm a gut and psychology practitioner. Look, I know you've done all the things with diet and exercise, and I also know that your health means the world to you. I'm going to show you how your gut health is the game changer to your weight, your confidence, and your stamina. So if you're ready to become the shit in your life, then let's jump in. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Let's Talk Shit. I am your host, Lisa Garrett, and I've got an incredible lineup for you today. I was on the phone chatting with my sister the other day, and we were talking about this scaly stuff you get on your eyelids. And then I started thinking as we were talking, so I kind of tapped out of listening a little bit, about sneaky ways that your body is trying to get your attention. So that's what today's podcast is all about, these hidden ways, and I'm going to give you 20 of them that are signs that your body is screaming for probably a nutrient found in a food or a deficiency, and how it all funnels back to your gut. So let's get started. Okay, I had to write some notes down, so I'm going to refer to my little notes here. I'm a pen paper person. Okay, I'm not diagnosing anything. I'm just saying these are linked to this, and they can be a sign of. If you think, oh, I don't know, I think it's something else, go to the doctor. Like, trust your gut. You do what's best for you. First one, thinning hair. I get asked this all the time. What can I do for my hair? My hair's thinning, it's receding, it's like straw, or I can't wash it very often. So much goes into hair. So much goes into it. And I'm not going to use all this time now, but refer back to episode 42 because I have a whole podcast on hair that will make so much sense to you. Okay, so I'm going to leave that right there, but just know that hair could be liver, thyroid, hormones, stress, any of it. And if you refer back to episode 42, I go into it in great depth, and you'll love it. Number 2, when you start to lose the outer part of your eyebrow. That happened to me. It would start here, and then it would just kind of fade away and nothing. Now, I do not have any tattoos, like some people have their eyebrows tattooed, microblading, all of that. I just use a pencil and fill it in because I don't want anything permanent there. That just bothers me. But to each his own. A thinning eyebrow for women mostly can be a sign of hypothyroidism, which, no kidding, that's what I had when my eyebrows started to thin that way. A couple things you can do is eat more iodine. It is hard to eat iodine if you don't live next to a coast. I don't. So you can get it in real salt. Okay, real salt, actually that's the name, real salt or Baja salt, because it will have naturally occurring iodine. You can also get it in seaweed, which now you can make your own seaweed crisps. You can also get it in kelp. You can take a supplement. There's a supplement I love called Prolamine Iodine Plus from Standard Process. So if you go to my website, click on supplements, head over there to my sister website of Standard Process, type in iodine, it'll pop right up. I take one of those every day because I do not live by the coast. And while I use plenty of really good salt, I still want to make sure I'm feeding my thyroid what it needs. And my eyebrows haven't gotten any worse. So it's holding, okay? Number 3, dark circles under your eyes. You know, the ones that you just can't put enough concealer on. You're like, oh my gosh, what the heck happened? I look like I I was at a banger all night, and you weren't. Those day in and day out. It's not just that you're tired. It's actually that your adrenals are exhausted. You are in some stage of adrenal fatigue, and your body cannot catch a break. Things that exhaust your adrenals, mainly stress. Okay, so it could be stress on the body, like maybe you're not drinking enough water. It could be I'm overtraining for a marathon. It could be too much sugar, too many processed foods. Any kind of stress on the body, whether it's emotional or physical, it can very easily show up as a black circle under your eye, okay? When you do have those dark circles, you also want to watch your carbohydrates because you can easily cross over into the insulin resistant category. Easily. So take down the carbs. Don't put all that stress on your pancreas with too many sugars, and balance out your foods. And then over time, make sure it's hard to know about stress. That's the thing. No one sees the stress bus coming and says, oh yeah, I'm getting on. Everybody denies it. Everybody freaking denies the stress bus, but it's there. But your body is telling you differently. So if you have those bags, or not bags, those black circles, just know that your body is telling you, hey, I am stressed out, and you got to do something about it. Okay, let's talk about oily skin. And I don't mean oily skin as a teenager, but oily skin as an adult or even into menopause, perimenopause, just like in your 30s and stuff. It doesn't mean you just produce a lot of oil. There's a reason your body is producing all that oil. It is trying to get your attention and keep up with you. And basically, that goes back to a hormonal imbalance. So your hormones can't get balanced if they're inflamed and there's inflammation all around. Nothing can balance there. It can also mean that you might be deficient in zinc. Now, before you go out and start taking zinc, some companies will provide a zinc test, or you could just change what you're eating and try and balance out your hormones naturally with the foods. And if you're eating out lunch every day, you are getting a lot of inflammatory foods. Maybe quit eating lunch out. Start taking your lunch to work. That's kind of an easy one. Change your breakfast to make sure you eat breakfast, a protein carb. Just get some real food 90% of the time, and I bet that oil clears up. Okay, acne, and this kind of goes along with it. Acne in midlife. Hormones, 100% hormones. And that hormone can include not just your female hormones, but it can include thyroid hormones, and it can include cortisol, which is a stress hormone. So it all goes back to making sure that your gut is thriving, making sure that your insulin is controlled and that you are more insulin sensitive than resistant, i.e., watch the number of carbs that you're eating. And if you don't want to do keto, which is very strict and very difficult, start tracking your carbs to see where you're at and then knock those in half. Yeah. Let me just tell you that one apple, a regular size apple, not the big steroid induced apple that you see at, the grocery store, an organic apple has about 25 grams of carbohydrates. When you do keto, that's the max, 25 to 30 a day. Yeah. So if you want to jump on the keto train, go for it. It's really good. It'll make your body super insulin sensitive. You will shred weight. If you're a diabetic, you probably should be keto. If you have cancer, you absolutely should be keto, because you need to starve those sugar cells. Cancer feeds off sugar cells. Sugar in the blood, not sugar cells. Sugar in the blood. So those are two demographics of people that I suggest a keto diet to. For the average person who's trying to clean up skin, it'll make a big difference if you change what you're eating and you cut down these carbohydrates. Yes, that means fruit too. Sorry, it just does. Your body can only handle so many carbohydrates in a day. And if you are not doing anything to use those carbohydrates, if you are sitting at a desk all day and walking from your chair to the restroom or your chair to the parking lot, and you go home and you make dinner and you sit on your ass, you are not using up those carbohydrates and your body doesn't know what to do with it. And that's what imbalances your hormones. Okay, Number 6, cataracts. Very common for people in their 50s and 60s. It's not just a getting old thing, you guys. It's not just getting older and my mom has it and, it runs in my family. It is not that. It's actually a sign of a deficiency, and it has to do with vitamin A. And if you want to know why you have a vitamin A deficiency, it's because your gut's a mess somewhere along the line. Bloat, gas, diarrhea, constipation, all that stuff, day after day after day after day, should be telling you that there is a disconnect in your gut. And that your body's going to keep trying to get your attention. And if the bloat doesn't get your attention, and the constipation or the diarrhea or the reflux, it's going to keep trying to get your attention. What it does is it's going to say, okay, well, I don't have her attention on the bloat. Okay, elimination's tough. Let me see if she pays attention to this. Nope, she's not paying attention. Okay, she's taking Miralax. Okay, it's helping, but I still can't process, and I'm still not getting this vitamin A. And so then it keeps going and going, and you will get more and more signs that things are not working the way they want to. Okay, so cataracts. It's a sign of a vitamin A deficiency and high insulin. So it could be insulin resistance going on. You're in the market for insulin resistance. That means you're in the market for being pre-diabetic. That means you're in the market for other inflammatory illnesses that could be lurking around the corner because you're eating too many freaking carbs. I know you like cream in your coffee. I know you like cookies with your coffee. I know that you like a Diet Coke and maybe something from Starbucks. I also know that you like bread when you go out to dinner. I know that you like butter on warm bread. Who the hell doesn't? We all love it. I know that you like pasta. I know that you like rice. I know that you like all the fruits. I know that you like the bowls. But you have to be in control of those carbohydrates because we are inundated with shitty carbohydrates. I also know that you like crackers and cheese, and I know that you can eat a little bit of cheese because it doesn't always bother you. No. You got to pay attention to these little signs along the way because little signs along the way add up to big ones. It's like if you have a drip of water in your house and you're like, that's interesting. Where's that coming from? And then it's gone the next day. You're like, oh, well, it's gone. Do you think it's gone? Do you think the drip just went away? Or is there something bigger going on with your roof or in your walls? You know what I mean? Alrighty, let's talk about, so some vitamin A foods. That's going to be like egg yolks, okay? Grass-fed butter, liver. If you do like liver, buy it grass-fed. Because remember, the liver is the detoxing organ in every animal. So buy grass-fed liver. And then wild-caught salmon. Those are things you can work into your diet, but if you still don't see a change with your eyes, you have to go further. So you can have salmon every day of your life, but if you're eating cheese and crackers, and cheese is actually inflammatory for you, and it makes you not go to the bathroom every 3 or 4 days. And the crackers are non-GMO and they're nut thins, so they're the rice crackers, so they don't have any gluten. No, it's still an inflammatory food because it's a processed food. So that habit right there could be negating you eating salmon. Sorry. I know, this is some tough love today, isn't it? All right, let's talk about the flaky skin that you get on your eyelid. Have you ever had that flaky skin? I got it last winter, and it lasted until my son's wedding in May, and then it was gone. And I couldn't figure out what the heck. I mean, and it would be like I could just rub my finger over it, and the flake would come off. It was so light and paper thin. It was so odd. It didn't itch. But flaky skin on your eyelids, it's an inflammation issue. So why are you inflamed? Is there a food you're eating that's inflaming you? Is there, are you eating out a lot? And even though you're eating maybe just the fajitas or just the steak and salad, Remember, every time they make your food on a grill, they are using a seed oil unless they advertise otherwise. That means they're using sunflower oil, vegetable oil, cottonseed oil, soybean oil, canola oil, whatever is cheap for a restaurant to use. That's what they're throwing on your chicken, steak, salmon, whatever. Okay. That could be a simple fix. The other thing is there could be a yeast imbalance, and maybe you're eating more carbohydrates than normal, and then it's coming out in your eyes. And in all of that, it's also sending your nervous system into overdrive because the inflammation is stressing you out. It's stressing your body out. You don't think about it. You're like, oh, I'm really stressed about eating out. You don't think about that. But your body is saying, okay, hang on, because I have an influx of maybe inflammatory foods that normally aren't here. So now the body is stressed out, and it could be coming out in that little thingy on your eye. So go back to vitamin A and go back to eating less crapola. All right, number 8, red cheeks. They could be blotchy or just flushed red cheeks. That's a real deal. And I see it in kids. I see it in kids in the grocery store. I'm just like, wow, their cheeks are really red. It could be high cortisol. Now, if you're a child, you think, oh, my kid, how can my kid be stressed? Doesn't mean they're stressed maybe the way you're stressed, but maybe their bodies are stressed. What are you feeding your children? What are you feeding your children? What are you feeding yourself if you have a red, blotchy, or just red cheeks? Or the red nose. The red nose, same thing. That to me screams yeast. Okay? I'm not saying you have candida, but what I know in working with clients is that when we cut down on foods that promote yeast overgrowth for them, which is usually dairy or wheat or too much of a processed food, the big thing is all these potato chips that are cooked in avocado oil. That's fine, but if you're eating a lot of that, if you're eating that every single day and you're not eating just one serving, but you're eating, a handful 3 times a day, that could be the reason you have the red nose and the red cheeks. One thing you can do to offset that, take the chips out and replace it with a fermented food. Maybe have a bite of sauerkraut. Do some raw apple cider vinegar every day, maybe twice a day on it, and then watch that clear up. That does help. All right, peeling skin or a rash, a sign of low omega-3s. Omega-3 fatty acids, those are anti-inflammatory. That's going to be in like wild-caught fish, fatty fish, that kind of thing. Grass-fed beef has the same amount of omega-3s that salmon has, wild-caught salmon. So buy wild-caught salmon, buy wild-caught cod, buy grass-fed beef, grass-fed butter, and you're going to be eating those foods as anti-inflammatories without having to take anti-inflammatories. That's the thing. Start using food. You have to eat anyway. You might as well start eating foods that actually work for you in the body. And the other thing is, you might not like this, but start avoiding your omega-6s. And that's going to be nuts. So all the people that have like the almond milk, which really isn't even almonds by the time they make it milk. Sorry, it's just not. Or just a handful of almonds, things like that. People are eating nuts like popcorn. This whole skin thing could be related to the imbalance of omega-6 versus omega-3. So if you're eating more omega-6s, and that's going to be walnuts, peanuts, almonds, and all your seed oils, and sometimes chicken. Yes, chicken. Believe it or not, especially if it's grain-fed, double whammy there. You got to know what your chickens are eating. Same thing with the eggs. You got a grain-fed egg and you're eating that every day and you have that imbalance going on. Ugh. So again, you can be eating all the omega-3s you want, but if you're eating peanut butter every day or nuts every day or chicken every day, you're like, what the hell? This also goes back to acne. I found this with my own kids, is that just taking peanut butter out of their diet when they were teenagers did help calm down the acne. The other thing is alcohol is inflammatory, and it can be very, very obvious on your skin. Wrinkles, bags, acne, all of it. I can always tell when my kids in college came home and they were drinking because their skin looked like shit. It's just so obvious because they have this surge of hormones at their age, and then you add toxicity to it like alcohol, and they're drinking shitty alcohol with cheap mixers, a lot of sugars. Ick. It's just coming out in your skin. Okay, dry hair, dry skin. If you're dealing with this could be a sign of, again, not enough omega-3s. I'm just going to say right now, go back and listen to podcast 42. I have a whole podcast on hair. So, or skin. Go back and listen to that. Well, hair. Yeah, hair. I'm doing a skin episode coming up, so look for that. Okay, cold sores. If you always get one in the fall, always get them in the winter, after you travel, it's not from the sun. The sun doesn't give you a cold sore. Let me say that again. The sun doesn't give you a cold sore. What gives you a cold sore is the crappy bacteria in your gut that has compromised your immune system, and now you have awakened the virus that's been sitting there forever. So if you had mono, if you've had herpes, a lot of these viruses as adults, it shows up as a cold sore in the mouth, lip, whatever. Okay, so the best thing you can do is fast. Take a whole 24-hour fast and just drink water and black coffee. Do that. That helps. The other thing is, yes, you can do topicals. One of the best topicals to put on a cold sore is raw apple cider vinegar to restore the bacteria on your lip or your mouth. Like if you have it in your mouth, just swishing around with it and then spitting it out, and don't rinse. Let that sit in there. But then taking a swig of raw apple cider vinegar. Fermented foods are awesome for cold sores because that's where the cold sore is stemming from. It also supports your immune system. So if you are not on a daily immune support, and I don't mean emergency, the little packets that you put, but a real immune system support every day, you're missing the boat because you need that. Don't wait to get sick to take it. Take it every day. What are some immune support supplements? Go over to my website, lisagarrettnutrition.com. Click on supplements. There's one called Immuplex, Immuplex. You take one of those every day. That's it. And then when you get sick, you double up on it. Or you get the immune system health pack and you take one of those a week. Keeps you healthy, and then watch the number of times you get sick and watch how much better your allergies are when you support your immune system every single day instead of waiting to get the allergies or waiting to get the illness, okay? Garlic is another really great antibacterial, antifungal food. So you can either skin the garlic, slice it, let it sit for, 5-10 minutes, let it air. It builds up. It starts to, what do I call it? Can't think of the word. Anyway, let it sit, swallow the sliver or chew it if you want. I add garlic to like my sauerkraut when I buy it. I just add fresh garlic to it, and then I eat the garlic like right out of the sauerkraut jar. It's really good. Or if I buy pickles that are clean, there's garlic in there, I eat that out of there. Love it. It's very antifungal. Cracked. Okay, number 11, cracked corners on the mouth. Okay, this is a low vitamin 2 issue, riboflavin. Okay, and this is where you can get it from. All your B vitamins are in your animal products, but you have to make sure you're eating clean animal products. Okay, I know I'm giving you a lot to do here. It also goes back to absorption. And this goes with all of these, all 20 of these. If your gut isn't locked and loaded and your immune system supported, not reported, then you're going to find yourself with any one of these things. So if you get the cracked corners, Again, go back to gut, make sure you're eating clean animal products, and are you absorbing well? That's something to really ask. Okay, number 13, have you ever had the burning eyes? Oh my gosh, sometimes I get those after working all day. And I think it's the light, but then I have to look at what am I eating, what am I not eating? So it could be the HPA axis is off. So if you're working a lot, that's stress, and your eyes burning, that's your body's way of saying, walk away. Walk away from what you're doing. I mean, I'll even tell my husband, oh my gosh, my eyes are burning. I'm just telling him right there that my body is stressed. Your eyes are stressed. Close your laptop, get away from the fake light and go outside, take your glasses off, and just don't look at a screen. That's a sign that you're stressed. And one of the best things you can do is take omega-3s every day. Remember, if you're taking an omega-3 supplement, you need to take it with an animal protein because it's fat. It will better absorb. And again, what's your absorption like? Okay? And so stress, absorption. You fix your gut, you take care of both of those things. You really do. Not that you're never going to be stressed, but you will support your adrenal glands in a way that is nutritionally sound versus ignoring it, which most people do. Most people ignore the adrenal glands. I'm like, I'm not stressed, because people think if they admit that they're stressed, it's a sign of weakness. And it's not. The weakness is your body saying, I can't handle this. Stop staring at your computer, Lisa. Walk away. Okay, cracked heels. The heels that are people have they're so dry they can't exfoliate enough and they're cracked. That is a sign of omega-3 fatty acid and, a deficit in omega-3s, and a sign of poor fat breakdown and absorption. Why do you have poor fat breakdown and absorption? It could be that your liver is clogged because of medications, toxins, or hormones. Your liver has to secrete bile into the small intestine to help you break down salmon, avocado, oil, chicken, beef, all the fats. So if your liver's clogged, poor fat breakdown, you might get cracky heels. If your gallbladder isn't working at full capacity, you might have cracked heels, very dry skin, okay? Let's see, chapped lips, the person that's constantly slathering, the chapstick or the Vaseline. Or I remember when one of my sons, his lips were so chapped. He was also a mouth breather. Maybe you're a mouth breather. Why are you a mouth breather? Are you stuffed up here? Is there inflammation here? That inflammation is stemming from something. But the chapped lips, also omega-3 fatty acids and poor fat breakdown. Okay? Someone who is always clearing their throat, whether it's, every morning and it stops, or it's just all the time, always clearing their throat. That is inflammation. That phlegm, that that need to always clear, could be a thyroid issue, okay? Could be a nodule issue. So if you want to see your doctor first, go for it. Sometimes just a capful of raw apple cider vinegar takes care of that inflammation in the morning. That's an easy fix. If it continues, do what you need to do after that. A hoarse voice. Yeah. So the person that always sounds like, they're the, just the hoarse voice. That could be thyroid. It could also be adrenal fatigue. When I was teaching a lot of classes, I had a horribly hoarse voice. I'm pretty sure I had a nodule on my vocal cord, but once I quit teaching so much, I didn't have a hoarse voice, but then I was diagnosed with hypothyroidism. So get your thyroid checked as often as you can. Be on top of that. And also just know that when you are overworked in any way of your life, whether you spend too much time working out, you spend too much time on your computer, you spend too much time working, you don't spend enough time balancing out the play in your life, you're gonna tap out your thyroid. It's gonna give. There's only so much of it to go around in your body. And if it hasn't given yet, it's going to. Because it's just one gland running your whole metabolic system. That's it. One little gland is running it. It also can be a sign of low stomach acid. Low stomach acid is absolutely linked to adrenal fatigue. When you produce too much cortisol, your body is, like I always say, in fight or flight. The fight or flight is running from the bear. And when you're running from the bear, your body isn't going to go, oh my gosh, she's eating an apple. We need to produce enough stomach acid, because your adrenal glands are producing off the charts cortisol to keep you running from the bear so you live. There is no time to produce stomach acid when you're running from a bear. There is no time to produce enough bile so you can break down your fats. It all goes back to stress. Stress and gut, they're linked. So when you fix your gut, you tame that cortisol. You feel better, okay? You break down foods better. You process everything. Your body is no longer left to its own, its own accord to do everything that you're freaking ignoring. That's what your body's trying. It's like, hello. Like my body's like, hello, Lisa. Like, you've got scaly skin. Your hair is dry. You look like shit. You got black circles under your eyes. You're super skinny. You're running marathons. You're not sleeping. Your thyroid's out of whack. You have an enlarged heart. You have anemia. What else do we need to get your attention? Oh, we got something for you. Bam, there's celiac. Now you have an autoimmune disease. I mean, that's just how it works. The body will keep trying and trying and trying to get your attention until you wake up and notice it and fix it. Last thing I want to talk about is halitosis. If you don't brush your teeth and you eat a lot of processed foods, you're going to have bad breath. That halitosis is coming from your gut. It's coming from the bacteria that sits on your tongue. It's coming from the bacteria that's in between your teeth. So if you're eating crackers and processed foods, that shit is getting lodged in your teeth. And if you're not flossing and brushing, worse yet, and then when you wake up and you have that, what the hell died in my mouth kind of vibe, ugh, then you might even notice you get a sulfur taste. Have you ever noticed that? Okay. Well, that is a result of poor digestion. It's kind of like the rotten egg smell that's in your mouth. And just talking about it makes me want to kind of gag. So best thing you can do, take the processed foods out. Start doing some fermented foods. Do raw apple cider vinegar twice a day. And for God's sakes, brush and floss your teeth before you go to bed. Please get the shit out of your teeth. You can't expect your teeth to be okay if you don't take care of them. Right? So get the shit out. And here's the thing. Do this. For 5 days, eat nothing but real food. That means all the proteins you want, olive oil, don't eat out, and fruits, vegetables, and a few nuts sprinkled in. Not a lot. Do that. Heck, do it for 3 days. See what happens to your body. See what happens to your sleep. See what happens to your energy. See what happens to your breath. Because when you nurture your gut biome with real food, there's no bad breath. There's no cold sores. There's no cracked corners. There's no dry hair. It might take longer to notice with hair, but let me tell you, you'll notice your breath right away when you eat real food. 100%. Do that little experiment and report back to me. I'd love to know. So I just gave you 20 not so obvious signs that your body is screaming for help. Don't ignore them. Make some shit happen in your life. Take control of it. You have one body, and if there's anything to say to your body when you get the cold sore, when you get the icky breath, when you get, thank you, body, for showing me that I'm ignoring something. Thank you. Your body is freaking fantastic. and it was built to work with anything you throw its way, but it has limits. And those limits add up and add up and add up, and it can only do and work with what you give it. So treat it right. You only get one body. Make some shit happen in your life. Until next time. Hey, before you go, would you like to receive my ultimate gut repair guide for free? This guide has everything you need to know about leaky gut, what's causing it, how it's affecting your daily life, a meal plan, and 5 ways you can start healing your gut today. This is the same framework that my VIP clients use when they start healing their gut. It's amazing. All you have to do is leave an honest review of Let's Talk Shit, screenshot it, share it to your Instagram stories, and tag me at Lisa Garrett Nutrition. I hope today's episode inspired you to make some shit happen in your life because you're freaking awesome. And I cannot wait to connect with you next time on Let's Talk Shit.